Welcome to the quietest corner of the internet. I am Nora, and I am so glad you found your way here tonight. Truly, genuinely glad. Because wherever you were today, whatever you are holding, whatever you were trying to sort out or push through or keep together, you made it. You made it to the end of the day. And that is not nothing. That is actually everything. I know what it is like to be 40-something or 50-something and feel like the world keeps asking for just a little bit more of you every single day. Like there is a tab open in the back of your mind that never fully closes. Like you are always slightly behind on something, even when you have no idea what that something is. Just a low, persistent hum of not quite enough. You know that feeling? Yeah, me too. Well, tonight we are closing that tab. Gently, without ceremony, just click, gone. And in its place, I am going to take you somewhere very, very quiet. Before we go, if you are finding something useful here tonight, if this is giving your nervous system even a small reprieve, please consider subscribing. It means this little corner of the internet can stay lit for people who need it. You can do that at any point, or not at all. Tonight is just for you. Now, let's breathe. Find your position. Whatever is most comfortable for you right now, let your body settle into it. If you are lying down, let the mattress take your full weight. I want you to consciously give it over, like setting down a bag you have been carrying for hours. Just let your weight drop through the mattress all the way down. Notice your jaw. There it is. That little bit of held tension just behind your back teeth. Let it soften now. Let your lips part very slightly and your tongue drop away from the roof of your mouth. Good. Now your shoulders. Just drop them down away from your ears. 1 inch, maybe 2. You didn't even notice they crept up again, did you? They always do. It's all right. Down they go. I want you to take one slow breath in through your nose. Hold it for just a moment at the top and release it slowly through your mouth. Let it go all the way out, further than you think. There is always a little more to release at the end of an exhale. Find it. Let it go. And again, in through the nose, slow and deep. Hold out through the mouth, long and complete. One more time. In, hold, and out. Your heart rate is already slowing. Your nervous system is already beginning to shift gears. You do not have to do anything to make that happen. It is already happening. Your body knows exactly how to do this. It has been waiting all day for permission. You are giving it permission now.
Let's check in with the rest of you. Your hands. Notice them. Let your fingers uncurl from wherever they have been gripping and just let them lie open. Palms up, palms down, whichever feels natural. Soft hands. No grip needed tonight. Your lower back. Let it sink. Your hips, heavy. Your legs, heavy as sand. Your feet, the little muscles between your toes, let them go completely loose. You are doing so well, honestly. Just lying there, breathing, letting go is the right thing to be doing right now. The only thing. Nothing is more important than this. Close your eyes if they aren't already closed, and come with me. It is November 1934, and it is raining on the Cornish coast. Not a polite rain, not the kind that makes a gentle patter on leaves and then apologizes for itself. No, this is a proper Atlantic storm, coming in off the water with real conviction. It has been building since late afternoon. You could feel it before you could hear it. That shift in the air pressure. That thick, metallic stillness that settles just before the weather decides to make itself known. The sea below the cliff is a different color now. It has gone from sleek gray to something darker, something almost purple, bruised and churning. The waves are not crashing so much as heaving. Long, slow, massive swells, the kind that travel for hundreds of miles before they reach this particular piece of rock and break against it with the bored authority of something very, very old. But inside the cottage is a completely different world. The walls of this place are granite. Not decorative granite, not the kind that gets polished and fitted in modern kitchens. This is raw Cornish granite, the color of old pewter, 3 feet thick at the base of the walls, quarried from this very cliff top a century before you were born. They have seen everything. Every storm, every calm, every season, every light that the lighthouse above them has ever thrown across the dark water. These walls do not feel the cold. They simply absorb it and hold warmth like a stone holds heat long after the sun has set. And tonight,
These walls are holding in something very good. The iron range in the far corner of the room is the heart of the whole cottage. It is an old Cornish slab range, black iron with 2 hot plates on top and a warming shelf above. And it was lit at 4 in the afternoon when the weather turned, and it has been going ever since, quietly and faithfully. The metal at its sides glows a very deep amber orange in the dimness, not blazing, not dramatic, just steadily, dependably warm. The kind of warm that seeps into the room slowly over hours until every object in the space has absorbed it. The cushions, the wool blankets draped over the chair backs, the braided rag rug, even the stone floor near the hearthstone. You can feel it from across the room.
The cottage is small, pleasingly, perfectly small. The kind of small that feels like being wrapped around rather than squeezed in. One main room that serves as both the sitting room and the study, with a low beamed ceiling the color of tobacco smoke from decades of oil lamp light. A kitchen alcove just off to the left behind a half-drawn curtain of heavy cotton duck cloth, faded blue, once a brighter blue, now the color of sea mist. A narrow wooden stair at the back leads up to 2 rooms above, but no one is going up there tonight. Tonight, everything worth being near is in this room.
Along the window ledge, which is deep enough to sit in, there are 3 oil lamps of different sizes. The largest is on the writing desk against the east wall. The middle one sits on the windowsill between 2 dried flower arrangements in old jam jars, a faded bunch of sea lavender, and a spray of dried pink thrift, the kind that grows in the cliff-top turf and smells faintly of hay even months after cutting. The smallest lamp is on the kitchen shelf, just barely lit, just enough to find your way to the kettle in the dark. Each lamp has its own small circle of amber light. Together, they fill the room not with brightness, but with warmth. The kind of light that makes shadows soft and edges kind. There is no overhead light in this room. There never has been. This cottage was built before electricity came to this part of the coast, and whoever has lived here since has seen no good reason to change things. Why would they? The lamps are enough. More than enough.
The bookshelves on the north wall are packed tightly with paperbacks and hardbacks, with tide charts rolled and tucked between them,
with a few framed photographs propped against the spines, with a ship's compass in a worn wooden box, and with small objects that have accumulated over the years, the way meaningful objects always do, quietly, without you noticing, until one day you look at a shelf and realize it tells the whole story of a life. A piece of sea glass, bottle green and perfectly frosted, smooth as a thumbstone. A curled piece of birch bark with a pressed violet still visible on its surface. An old postcards tucked into the spine of a 1928 almanac. A small watercolor of this very cottage done by someone who loved it, leaning against a bird-watching handbook. A cork from a very good bottle of something. Every single object has a story, and none of them need to be told tonight. Tonight, they just get to be here, holding the room.
The rain picks up again outside. Another gust driving the drops hard against the leaded windows. The glass shudders very slightly, its old putty and lead and bubbled Victorian panes flexing just barely under the pressure. And the sound it makes is extraordinary. Not loud, just full. A full, complete, layered sound. The hiss of it on the grass outside, the deeper drum of it on the stone path, the lighter tapping against the glass itself, and underneath it all, barely audible but always present, the low, rolling percussion of the sea. You could sit here all night just listening to that. You could, actually. And that is exactly what Rosalind Collier has been quietly doing since 4:30.
Roz had made tea twice already. The first time was automatic, that thing you do when you arrive somewhere and need something to do with your hands while you let a place settle around you. She'd lit the range, put the kettle on, found the tin of chamomile in the second cupboard, and made the tea the way she always made it here. Lease flowers in a small white pot, steeped for exactly 4 minutes, poured through a small brass strainer into the whitest mug she could find. She drank it standing at the window, watching the weather build over the water, and she felt something in her chest very slowly begin to unclench. The second time, she made it just because she wanted more, which is, she had to admit, a better reason than the first. Now she is sitting in the larger of the 2 armchairs, the one that faces the range, with the mug held in both hands and her stocking feet tucked up beneath her on the cushion. She is not reading. She is not planning anything. She is not working out how to rescue the Meridian Shelf Project, or how to tell the funding board why the survey data needs 2 more years rather than 6 months. She is not composing emails in her head. She has been doing so little of that, she almost doesn't know what to do with herself. She is just listening to the rain. And it is, she thinks, the best use of an evening she has allowed herself in at least 4 years.
The logbook is on the desk across the room. She'd pulled it from the shelf when she first arrived, found it wedged behind a stack of old Cornish life magazines, with its spine facing inward, as if whoever put it there had wanted it to be found only when someone was looking carefully enough. The cover is green leather, once bright, now the color of a deep pool. The keeper's name is stamped in fading gold on the lower right corner. P.C. Trevorrow, Porthcawl Lighthouse, 1931 to 1937.
Inside, in a handwriting that is somewhere between copperplate and the practical scrawl of a man who wrote a great deal in poor light, there are daily entries. Weather, tides, the state of the light mechanism, the ships sighted, the occasional visitor. But also, woven between the official observations, small personal notes. Mentions of a wife who sends parcels of fruitcake. A note about a seal that has taken to hauling herself out on the lower rocks at low tide, and which he has named Winnie. A brief 2-line entry about seeing a meteor shower at 3 in the morning that he describes simply as a very fine display, worth the cold.
Roz had read the first 30 pages already, sitting at the desk with the oil lamp pulled close, and she had felt very unexpectedly like crying. Not from sadness, from something else. From the recognition of a life lived with full attention to small things. From the quiet dignity of a man who considered a seal on a rock and a meteor shower to be as noteworthy as the shipping data. She had thought, I used to notice things like that.
The knock at the door came just after 7. Not a loud knock. 3 measured raps with a knuckle. The kind that says, I am not sure of my welcome, but I am here anyway. Roz knew who it was before she opened the door. Only one person in her life knocked quite like that. Declan Marsh was standing on the stone step in a waxed canvas coat that was absolutely soaked through, water running off the brim of his cap in a steady stream, holding a bottle of what looked like something pale and gold under one arm, and carrying a battered paperback book in his other hand. He had driven up from Falmouth, he said, because the forecast had mentioned this particular stretch of coast by name in a way he'd found rather enticing. He was lying, obviously. He had come because he knew she was here, and because he knew she needed company that would not require any performance from her. He had known her for 26 years, and in that time, he had developed an accurate and largely unsentimental sense of when she was all right and when she was quietly not. She stepped back and let him in without saying a word. He came in, dripping, smelling of rain and petrol and the outdoors, and the cottage felt warmer immediately. He put the bottle on the kitchen worktop. "Dandelion wine," he said. "Made it myself. It is genuinely not very good." "Perfect," said Roz.
By 8 o'clock, Declan's coat was hanging steaming near the range, and they were both in armchairs with mugs of chamomile tea and small glasses of the dandelion wine on the hearthstone beside them. He had, it turned out, brought the logbook as well. A different one he'd found at a car boot sale 3 years ago and had been meaning to show her ever since. From a different lighthouse, a different keeper. A woman this time, the 1920s. A fact that both of them found quietly astonishing and quietly moving in equal measure. They decided to transcribe them, both logbooks, together. Not type them, transcribe them, by hand, with pen and ink, into clean notebooks. Slowly, because the point was the slowness. The point was the sitting and the careful, deliberate attention to each word. Roz brought the desk lamp over on its long cord and arranged it between their chairs, and Declan fetched the notebooks from his bag. 2 of them, cloth covered in bottle green, as if he'd known.
The pressing of the flowers came later. Roz had found a small envelope tucked into the back of P.C. Trevorrow's logbook. Inside were 3 things: a folded piece of paper with a tide record, a tiny pencil drawing of Winnie the Seal, and a single dried flower. Fragile now, translucent, barely there. A sea campion. White, 5 petals, a delicate bladder-shaped calyx behind it. Still perfectly formed. Kept for nearly 90 years between these pages, preserved by nothing more remarkable than the pressure of the book's own weight. She held it on her palm for a long moment, very gently, and neither of them said anything. Then she placed it back, very carefully, and pressed the book closed again, slowly and deliberately, as if sealing a letter. And she thought, someone kept this. Someone thought this small white flower was worth keeping. And they were right. She thought, maybe I should start keeping things again. Not metaphorically. Actually, physically, pressing things, noting things down, not because they are useful or productive, just because they are worth noticing.
The transcribing went slowly, which was exactly right. Declan read aloud from the woman keeper's log, a Miss E. Varco, in a low, careful voice, and Roz copied the words out longhand into the green notebook, her pen moving slowly across the page, each word getting its due weight. Declan held the pace of it perfectly. He'd always been like that, instinctively knowing when to wait, when a moment needed more room.
Outside, the storm was fully present now. The wind had a voice, a low, consistent moan at the corner of the cottage where the roofline met the chimney breast. And the rain on the windows had become a steady hiss rather than a rattle. The lighthouse beam was sweeping its slow arc above them, every 5 seconds. And occasionally, its light ghosted across the ceiling of the room through the high window. A brief, cool blue-white against all that amber warmth. Neither of them mentioned work. Neither of them mentioned the project. It did not come up. Because here in this room, with this lamp and these words and this wane and this very ordinary, rather bad dandelion wine, work had simply stopped being the most interesting thing in the room. Maybe it was never the most interesting thing. Maybe they had just been looking at it too long. Come back to the room you are in now for just a moment. Feel the weight of your body where it rests. Feel the warmth around you. Listen to whatever sounds are near you and know that you are just as safe as Roz in that stone cottage, just as held, just as surrounded by something solid and quiet and dependable. The storm outside can stay outside. The lists can wait. The unfinished things, they are still going to be there tomorrow. But tomorrow is not now. Right now, there is just this room, and your breathing, and the dark behind your eyelids, and you, just you. Roz learned something tonight. Sitting in that armchair with that old logbook across her knees, something she had known once, a long time ago, before the career got serious and the deadlines got louder and the quiet got crowded out. She learned that a life well noticed is more valuable than a life well managed. That a man keeping records of a seal on a rock, that a woman noting the height of the tide on a Tuesday morning, that a single dried sea campion pressed between 2 pieces of paper for 90 years, all of that is not small. All of that is the whole point. You do not have to be productive to be worthy of warmth. You do not have to earn your rest. You do not have to justify a quiet evening
You do not have to have something to show for the hours you spent simply being present in them. P.C. Trevorrow kept a logbook for 6 years. It is not a monument to achievement. It is a monument to paying attention. And it kept a flower alive for 90 years.
I want to speak to you directly now, for just a moment. To you, specifically, whoever you are. You have carried enough today. You have thought enough, managed enough, navigated enough. You have kept the plate spinning and the people around you provided for and the edges of your life tidy enough to function. And you have done all of that while also carrying the private weight of being a full, complicated human being who is maybe a little tired and maybe a little unrecognized and maybe wondering when it all gets easier. You are allowed to set all of that down right here, right now, in this quiet. You are doing a wonderful job. Not just of work or parenting or managing, but of being, of continuing to be present and mostly kind and mostly trying. That is a very hard job, and it does not come with a performance review, and it does not have a salary, but it is the most important work there is, and you are doing it. I see that, even from here.
The cottage is very quiet now. Declan has fallen asleep in his chair. Not dramatically, not with snoring or a jolt. He has simply lowered. His chin has found his chest, and his breathing has slowed and deepened and evened out. And the green notebook is resting unopened on his knee, the pen still loosely in his fingers. Roz looks at him for a moment with something that might be envy and something that might be tenderness and something that is definitely both. Then she looks back at the logbook in her hands.
She turns to the last written page, the final entry before the pages go blank. It is dated December 19th, 1937. The handwriting is the same as the first page, unchanged by 6 years of storms and tides and seasons. It says only this: a very fine night, no ships, good visibility. The light is burning well. That is all. She closes the book. She closes her own eyes. The range ticks softly as the metal settles. The rain finds a new rhythm against the glass. Somewhere above them, the lighthouse keeps turning. Everything is exactly as it should be.
The story is done now. There are no more words that need to happen. The cottage is settled and warm,
and full of the right kind of silence. And it is time for you to sleep.
You are safe, you are warm, you are held by this moment exactly as you are. You have done enough today. You have been enough today. Let your body be heavy. Let your thoughts become slow and loose and far away. You do not have to solve anything tonight. Tonight, the only thing required of you is to rest. You are worthy of rest, not because of what you did today, because you exist, because you are here, because you are a person who deserves a quiet night. Let go of tomorrow. Tomorrow can take care of itself. Right now, there is only this breathing, this warmth, this quiet. Your mind is slowing. Your mind is soft. The thoughts are moving through now, passing like clouds, like ships, like the lighthouse beam across a dark ceiling. Just let them pass. You don't need to catch them. Let them go.
You are safe. Deeply, deeply safe. Rest. Rest now. The light is burning well. That is all. That is everything. Sleep. Safe, warm, enough, rest, sleep.